Hi guys, it's Stacy with Handmade by Stacy J. Today's knitting tutorial is going to be the knotted cable, and I want to show you this just a little bit closer so you can see it. This is such a neat stitch, and I love the knot right here. And essentially this stitch is worked using a 2x2 ribbing with a cross 6 stitch, and that's what gives you the little knot. So I will show you how to do this step by step. And if you go on the website, I will have the written directions as well as a chart and a link to this video tutorial. So it makes it easy peasy so that you can learn this. I think I'm going to be seeing this in some patterns because I've already got some ideas. So let's go ahead and get started. The knotted cable is an interesting cable stitch, and I really like it. It has a great K2 P2 ribbing that's worked over 6 stitches, but then you create this interesting knot with your cable needle. And it's pretty simple to do once you get the hang of it. When you start the stitch, you'll notice that there's a little bitty knot that starts on about the 3rd row. Now, if you find that you don't like that knot being so close to your border, I'm going to tell you how you can avoid that and end up with your knot being the first one up here. So the stitch pattern itself is worked over a background of reverse stockinette. And what reverse stockinette means is that on the right side you purl, on the wrong side you knit. So the wrong side of your cable ends up looking like this. But the right side, it makes it really pop out so that you've got that stockinette look of the cable itself. So let's go ahead and get started on this. For this example, I casted on 14 stitches. And with the background being reverse stockinette, I have 4 stitches here that I'm working in reverse stockinette for the background and 4 stitches here. So the cable itself is worked over these 6 stitches. So remember, for the right side we're going to be purling, for the wrong side we'll be knitting just on that background part. So for row 1, we're going to begin by purling that first stitch. And then we're going to purl those next 3. Now for the cable, we're going to knit 2, purl 2, and knit 2. And then for the background, I'm going to purl those last 4. For row 2 and every wrong side row, we're going to begin with the background where we're going to knit 4. Then for the cable panel itself, we're going to purl 2, knit 2, and purl 2. And then I'm going to knit 4 to finish out that background. Now row 3 is where we're going to make the knot. So when you are first starting, if you want to avoid doing that knot so close to the bottom, that's when you would just repeat row 1 once more. And that's where you do your reverse stockinette, and then you do knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, and then finish out your background by purling. So I'm going to show you how we create this knot. So I'm going to begin by working that background. So I'm going to purl 4. And now we're going to do an interesting cable stitch. It's called the cross 6. So we are going to be working all 6 of the cable panel stitches. And how we're going to do it is we're going to grab our cable needle and we're going to slide 4 stitches off of the left hand needle onto the cable needle. So there's 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to hold it to the front of our work, just like so. Then we're going to knit the next 2. And that first knit, I always snug it up just a little bit with a little bit of a tug. And then there's the second one. Then we're going to take 2 stitches off of the cable needle and put them on the left hand needle. So it's 1, and 2. Now, before you do anything, you're going to take this cable needle and you're going to put it to the back of your work. Being careful not to twist your stitches. There we go. Then, those 2 stitches that we just slid off of the cable needle onto the left-hand needle, we're going to purl. There's 1, and purl 2. Then you're going to take those last 2 stitches off the cable needle and put them on your left-hand needle. And those 2 stitches you're going to knit. Then you'll finish out your background. So I'm going to purl those last 4. For row 4, we'll begin with the background. So I'm going to knit 4. Then purl 2. Knit 2. And purl 2. Then I'll finish out my background by knitting 4. For row 5, we're going to do a repeat of row 1. So that means we're going to purl those first 4, or however much of a background you have. 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to work a knit 2, purl 2, and knit 2. Then finish out your background with a purl. For row 6, we will begin on the background with knitting those first 4, or however many you have on your background. And then for the cable pattern, we will purl 2, knit 2, and purl 2. And then finish out your background by knitting. Row 7 is a repeat of row 1. So for your background, you'll purl. So in my case, I'm purling 4. And then for the cable, we're going to work the knit 2, purl 2, and then knit 2. Then we'll finish out the background by purling. For row 8, we're going to knit the background. So knit 4. Then for the cable panel, we're going to purl 2, knit 2, and purl 2. Then we'll finish out the background by knitting those last stitches. For row 9, we're going to repeat row 1 again. So that's to purl your background. So purl 4. And for the cable panel, we're going to knit 2, purl 2, and knit 2. Then we'll finish out the background by purling. For row 10, we're going to repeat row 2, where we're going to knit the background. So knit 4. Then we're going to purl 2 and knit 2 and purl 2. And then finish the remaining background by knitting. So in my case, knitting 4. And that is it for the knotted cable stitch. To continue growing your piece, just repeat rows 1 through 10 for as long as you'd like, honestly. And then you can decide where you'd like the knot to end. If you want it to end towards the beginning of or towards the end of your work, like you have here at the beginning, or if you want to just let the cable go and then have it fade into a K2P2 ribbing, that could look pretty cool. There's all kinds of options. But I do hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I will see you soon with more tutorials. Thanks a bunch. Happy knitting. Bye-bye.